What is Black culture to you?
It's black as fuck.
Black culture.
Black culture is like.
Black culture to me is
Black culture refers to
black artistry.
Black culture is something that is always imitated but never done right.
Trendsetters, to be someone who challenges the boundaries of norms of society.
Basis for everything, really.
The essence of who I am.
artistic pursuits, the lifestyle, the cuisine, the fashion of Black people. So,
Hey y'all, I'm Kinsley. I'm a biology major on the pre-med track. Black culture to me is the essence of who I am. I feel like every Black person you run into, you meet a little bit, like you find a different bit of culture in all aspects of it.
How has Black artistry impacted you?
Black artistry has changed my perspective of the world. It's morphed who I am. Honestly, I feel like music is the biggest tool to get to other people or convey new messages to them. So I feel like it's very important. It's impacted my life from the beginning of time to now.
Are cultural bounds important?
Yes, yes, and yes, yes. It's important for Black people to make it their business to be like, hey, if you're white, if you're another race, even if you are a minority, you cannot do what we do. You cannot do what we do.
Period.
Like the bonnets, y'all ain't ready for that conversation.
Who is the most influential American artist to date?
Beyonce. Beyonce has impacted music to the point where it's like she can't really be compared to somebody else. She's very genre bending, pushes boundaries. She can still cross over to a white audience and a Black audience simultaneously.
So do you believe that she would have got the same backlash if she was a white artist making a country album and a house album?
No. That's how Miley Cyrus was bending genres and pushing boundaries during her in the club, high off perk with my days on, that era, okay? Her 23 era. Y'all didn't care what that girl did. And now she making country, making rock, doing whatever her little heart pleases. And I support you, girl. But when Beyonce, somebody from Houston that has been influenced by country music her whole life, her dad's from Alabama, her mom's from Louisiana, she got a good geographical, like musically speaking, geographically, nobody's beating her. So you're telling me somebody that's been surrounded by country music, she obviously has had like a lot of influence from house music, and she's paying homage to those people and also taking back a genre which was already Black people's. Y'all are mad.
What kind of effect do you think slavery had on Black culture today?
Slavery was a big part of Black culture, in my opinion. We had no culture when we got here. Our culture was stripped from us. Characteristics that Black people have come from slavery.
Do you think that it has changed over time to adapt to the modern world, or do you think that most of the culture has kind of stayed the same and based off a similar struggle?
Even though we may start to, I don't even want to say stray away, but we start to change little things, little minute things, and they evolve over time. Everything is still the same on a surface level.
Yes.
My name is Carson Malik Erskine, but I go by Malik.
What's your major?
English.
How old are you?
19.
What do you identify as racially?
Black, African American. Black culture is like a basis for everything, really. Like how you view the world, how you interact with other people.
How has Black artistry impacted you?
I like to write, and I like to read a lot of Black writers. African American literature is kind of distinct from American literature because we've always been distinct in America. So you can't really have American literature and just leave it at just white people or like group Black people in with that, because it's different, it's not the same. So I feel like reading a lot of Black writers has informed my writing and how I it kind of changed how I view the world and how I view writing as a tool. I never really envisioned myself being a writer, because that's not something you saw Black men doing. So when you don't see yourself in that space, it kind of limits what you view as possible. So it's kind of important to show that that's a real avenue for everybody. When people see an aspect of culture that they like, rather than like seeing that and being like, oh, I like that. They kind of take it, and I feel like that partly comes from a lack of your own cultural identity, because I never really feel the need to. I'll look at an Indian person dance, like do their like classical dance, and it's beautiful, it looks nice, but I never have the like urge to go and do that. And I feel like that's because I'm secure in my own like cultural identity, and so when you don't have that, you kind of trying to seek out a way to distinguish yourself, I guess. So I think that plays a part in it. But yeah, I guess it's just entitlement and a lack of cultural foundation, maybe.
So do you think it has anything to do with the fact that slaves and black people in general were seen like as subhuman?
Yeah. I feel like Black American culture specifically kind of like everything, just about everything in Black American culture has its roots in slavery, because it kind of has to, because that's where Black Americans began. And so seeing that you could form a culture like ours from a place that, like, I don't know, ugly. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and other people see that and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so cool. They have this perception that like it's like, if it's different, it's exotic, it's special, it's cool, and they want to take part in it.
Right now, creative media, but next year it'll be political science.
How old are you?
19 years young.
What's your race?
Caucasian, I would argue. I was raised conservative, and so genuinely, if I didn't meet Malik back in like 6th grade, probably would have been completely different. So in a general sense, I mean, I'm just always talking to people, you know, learning things about them. So to me, there's always more to learn. I mean, there's not really a simple answer for it. It's more of just learning about people, learning about their culture, and just, you know, appreciating it for what it is. Stereotypes, I think media plays a pivotal role in like almost everything, good and bad.
How has Black culture or Black artistry impacted you personally?
I think it definitely broadened my understanding of the world as we know it. Because I mean, it's true, like every race, every ethnic group has their own culture, but I mean, it'd be pretty ill-advised to assert that like Black culture is just the same as other cultures in terms of its relevancy in the U.S. specifically. Because I mean, obviously, you know, resources and the way that we were kind of built up as a country was on the backs of slavery. And so, of course, it's kind of permeated our own culture way more than other ethnic groups and races. Understanding that makes me appreciate the history of it more, and also pretty much the ugly side of it. The idea of like cultures assimilating together is cool, but when you get into the context of it, and you realize that like a majority of people who say things like, oh, I think we all need to assimilate together, this and this, are like white people, or it's people trying to say like, oh, we're all equal, this and this and this. It's not a bad idea, but I think that it's an important distinction to make that like certain cultures, especially in a historical sense, have much more weight to them, and it's when you do that, you kind of like not only like disenfranchise it, but it's sort of like ignorant in the sense of assuming that everything is just the same, but history will tell us that it's not all the same. Things are wildly different depending on what you're looking into. So I think if people were better human beings, then it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think that a lot of people are still ignorant, and people need to learn more. But like when I was younger, I was raised conservative, and so you kind of have this viewpoint of, you know, everybody's an individual, which sounds good on paper, and how people need to just, you know, work for themselves and this. But when you hear other people's sides, you hear like the history of it, which you're not taught, not really, then it totally, completely 180s that. And I think it was a very, extremely positive, probably the most positive thing for me, was just having other perspectives, because then you realize like, oh, maybe the world isn't as black and white, not intended, as simple as that. Just because it's like, you know, you can say everybody's an individual, we all have merit, that's true, but once again, the context of it's so important.
I'm going to be a trendsetter, to be someone who challenges the boundaries of norms of society, you know, influence.
Did you?
Just the way that we have fashion, the way we carry ourselves, the way our music is, the way that we just talk, like artistry just carries within who we are, the foundation of which we have capitalized that was used to suppress us in the beginning. So we use that as a way to express ourselves when we couldn't. So we're giving a voice to the silent. There should be some type of establishment of what is acceptable and what is not, and be able just to know that there's a line, but we're not going to shed away from, education.
Who is the most influential American artist to date?
Music-wise, I know everybody's going to say Beyonce, but I feel like you have artists who are more down under, like E4, Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, Roach. It suppressed us. It suppressed how we think and how our minds are calibrated and how we go about our daily lives. We're always looking for somebody to catch us in the act. We're always looking for somebody to think that we're doing something wrong because we were put in those positions a long time ago. This is just something that's systematically put into our heads that we're always going to be the ones on the run. We're always going to be the ones being looked at. So how we look at ourselves now, it changes the whole perspective of who we are. It allowed us to evolve as individuals and standing for what we believe in. Why are we systematically still suppressing ourselves in society? If you look at the election that just happened, you have black women run, and America wasn't ready for a black woman. They weren't ready for it because they knew that when it comes, we're going to change how society is, constitutionally written. We're going to change the agenda that we try to put out. We needed it, low-key, just to be able to pull up.
With the goal of confirming my findings through my research essay, I went on a journey using this documentary to interview students on the University of Alabama's campus who I believe have knowledge of not only Black culture, but of Black identity. Through this, I found that most students tie Black culture to slavery and slave labor. Because our culture stems from slavery, it is therefore embedded in struggle. Therefore, we have the question, is our culture meant to be defined by this struggle forever? Because although Black people are systemically oppressed and our foundations come from oppression and struggle, that does not have to define us. But the question is, can we redefine struggle so that it does not define us negatively and instead defines us as a whole? Cultural appropriation not only stems from a long and complicated past with chattel slavery and again demoralization of Black life, but it also stems from a lack of accountability in the present tense, which is upheld by the media that we consume. A lack of ownership has led to a general drought of knowledge about Black culture and Black impact. This documentary and others, such as Questlove's Sly and the Family Stone, The Burden of Black Genius, showcase how difficult it is to exist in America and how hard it is to redefine our cultural bounds. But starting from the early days of slavery, Black people have been labeled as one thing: for-profit property. Not only were we chattel slaves, we were also entertainment going into the Jim Crow era, and even now as Black people take over all entertainment networks, NBA, NFL, Billboard, you name it, we're there and ready with a smile painted on our face and our Blackness being obstructed and forgotten about. The cultural and creative innovations that we create are not owned by us, but now they are. Black people are taking back the narrative, redefining culture and redefining what it means to be Black in America. No longer are we defined by that same struggle, but we carry that struggle with us as a testament of our pain and the pain that they had to go through in order for us to forge this path. If you were to ask me, what does Black culture mean to you? I would say that Black culture is resilience. Black culture is struggle, because it is in our nature at this point to struggle, but not only to struggle, but to persevere. To persevere and to be determined in our perseverance. And from that determination and perseverance breeds creativity. And from that creativity is life. And we create from our pain. We alchemize our emotions to help us see a better future. And we create the dream that we want to live in. So what is Black culture to me? Black culture is magic. Black culture is the ability to create anything from anything. To create something out of nothing. Black culture was the scraps handed down to us, not by our ancestors and not by theirs, but by our oppressors. Scraps that we ultimately took, and made into a quilt. Black people can do anything. And our culture is the main testament of the things that we can do and the places that we can go. Our culture is beautiful, broad, bright, innovative. There is nothing else like Black people and the culture that we've created. So what is Black culture to me? Black culture is me, and it's you, and it's the person next to you and the person down the street from you. Black culture is us, a network of interconnectivity, all connected by similar DNA, similar experiences, the clothes that we wear, the way that we talk, and everything else in between. Black culture is me, it's you, it's everything. Because that's what we are. We're everything. And now, more Black people are realizing this. More Black people are taking back the narrative on what it truly means to be Black and to be American. Because that's what we are. We are American. And in so many ways, we are America. So, if you're Black and you're watching this, just know, you matter. You're America. You're that girl. You're that guy. And it's been a pleasure to share my thoughts with you. Welcome to my world.